What's up, party people? It's Team Money here, coming at you with episode 5 of Voices of Vikings podcast. A little change up coming at you. Got my boy Joey Two Hands here, but we're rolling without Ya Boi D. So, get a double dose of me and Two Hands here. How's it going tonight, Joe?
Oh, we're doing great, man. Don't need Devin. You can do the dogs.
Yeah.
Kick him out of here, putting
We can
family
handle
over
his section.
podcast.
Right. In Cancun, looking at yachts, sitting on the beach, drinking out of pineapples.
Sounds terrible.
A loser.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be back next cast, but as a reminder, that will not be next week. We'll be taking a week off for the bye week, so we'll be coming back at you the following week. So, going to follow our standard agenda, though, for today's cast. We're going to cover the division, give a little update on how the Vikings win over the Lions impacted the division. We'll cover the dogs for D, and then jump into the keys to victory, headed into Carolina this weekend. Cover our Two Hands players to watch, as always, and then throw in some predictions and family shout-outs. So it should be a fun time. So on the division, basically everyone was a winner this weekend, except for the Lions. So had the Packers eke out a victory in a game that looked like nobody wanted to win in Cincinnati. Was it 5 missed field goals in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter in overtime?
Might have been 6, but either way, it's too many.
Yep. Didn't look like anyone wanted to win, but then finally Crosby hit the broadside of a barn for once and got him out of there. And then the Bears beat up on the Raiders 20-9, I think that was, but their coach was too busy making racial slurs towards all the players.
Yeah, I was going to say, besides that, a little surprising loss by the Raiders there. They looked like a good team, but
yeah,
when you have distractions like that going on, it's not going to help you.
Hard to overcome that type of off-field distraction for sure. But yeah, so that puts the Stinky Cheese still in first, 4-1. Got the Bears second, 3-2. Our Vikes bringing up third at 2-3, and the Lions chilling in the basement at 0-5, fighting for that first round pick. So
poor Lions and their coach. You see that press conference there?
Yeah,
breaks your heart, man.
Poor guy. I mean,
tough.
I wouldn't have been any different if that kick doesn't go in. I could probably guarantee you I would have been taking a hot shower with the door locked so that no one could hear my tears.
Some music playing.
Sarah McLachlan or something like that.
Can't hear the whales.
In the arms of the angel. So, but no, Greg comes through clutch, bangs that puppy through. That was beautiful.
I saw someone call him Leg Joseph. Big fan of that nickname.
Nice. I like it. It
was 5 for 5, 55, or 5 for 5, 50 plus. It is that. I think he's the only kicker right now that's 100% for 50 plus yards. So, missed that short one. That hurts, but dude's been balling. It's exciting to finally have a kicker that can hit field goals. It's cool to be on the other side of it.
That's what I was going to say.
To be on a winning field goal instead of missing it and then losing.
Right.
That hurts.
For sure. Stunk to be put in that position. Definitely got the heart racing. That shorter field goal by Joseph, I think he just thought he had enough. He almost overconfident and just swings through and comes up short. It was dead accurate. Almost hit the upright, but not enough leg on that one. So, is what it is.
Yeah, it looks like he was focusing on accuracy and just kind of went through the motions of kicking. It didn't seem like he caught all of it almost, and the next 9 times that's going in.
Yep. And he made the one that counted in the end. Offense came up clutch. The defense looked a little lackluster after the fumble, but the quick change is tough to deal with. But hey, Cousins came back, hit Thielen a couple of times, crossed the middle, and avoided a blitz that I think most people would think was a mistake, but hitting Conklin on the sideline, you hope he gets out of bounds, but you don't want to take a sack and you don't just want to dirt it. You're trying to move down the field, so.
Yeah, you get an intentional grounding there. That's 10-second runoff.
Exactly. So ultimately looked real good in that last 33 seconds and came away with the dub. So the interaction on the sideline that caught all the attention too, that was pretty funny. But turns out, I mean, they were all just jazzed. So I buy it. Some people were saying they don't buy it, but I buy Cousins. You can clearly see he says, "You like that?" That's his coined phrase, and Zimmer's just like, "F yeah, I like
Yeah,
that."
I think it caught Zimmer off guard.
For sure.
It seemed like it did. It was I feel like Kirk probably doesn't act like that all the time.
Yep.
Getting in Zimmer's face, it's probably a first for Zimmer. I don't know if he's ever had a player that's gotten back in his face like that. So
Right.
I liked it. I love the energy.
Yeah.
You can see in those last, 45 seconds of the game, letting Kirk throw the ball. That's what you got to do there. And
For sure.
he balled out. He proved he could do it. Not that he hasn't before, but
Right.
I think it was a little frustration on his part too, not being able to, have more control over that offense.
Right. For sure. Um, yeah, it's good to see him hit Thielen. You got your kind of your clutch players, and I was thinking back to last cast we talked about after the loss to the Browns. Zimmer met with the captains. Cousins is a captain, Thielen's a captain. In those moments, captain's stepping up huge, and I think if I were a fly on the wall in that meeting, Zimmer said something about you need to be more vocal as leaders. We've got Anthony Barr, quiet. We got Harrison Smith, quiet. Dalvin Cook, quiet. Cousins, Thielen. I mean, none of those guys are very vocal guys. So I'm sure he challenged him to show some heart. And so Cousins says, well, here, let me punch you right in the heart. So
It's an aggressive shove, man. I loved it.
it was, and an aggressive shove back. So
Yeah.
I like it. I think it shows they have a bond growing rather than some people and maybe Packers fans would say it's because they're mad at each other and they hate each other. I think it shows that they're getting on the same level. So hopefully that leads to winning some more games.
Yeah, those are people and voices that don't know the Vikings like Vikings fans do. There's no
Right.
way that was any malicious intent there.
Right. Yeah, especially because one, your $27 million quarterback and your coach are not going to get into a sideline scuffle after a win. Like that's
No,
just
it doesn't
people
make
trying
any
to
sense.
poison your minds.
Distractions, man.
Right. So, all right, well, let's in honor of D, let's go through the dogs from our win over the Lions, 1917 victory. Offensively, I think one man really carried the torch. Even with us talking about Cousins at the end there, I think it's got to go to Alexander Mattison. 25 carries, 113 yards, and then 7 catches, 40 yards, and a touchdown. That's just on the game. The dude was everywhere. Obviously had the big fumble, but man, you could tell that broke his heart. That was hard to see him standing on the sidelines. He knew, and Cook even said in his press conference today, as soon as that kick crossed the crossbar, Madison was right up giving Cook a hug. Oh, thank God, it went through. My mistake didn't cost us the game. So, he's gonna, again, like he said with Joseph, the next 9 times, he's not dropping that. So that brings him up to 65 carries and for 258 yards just rushing so far this year. So actually leads the team in rushing in just 2 games versus Cook's 3 games. So kid's playing well. Love to see it. So
Yeah, like we've said before, he'd start 25 of these other teams in the league, man. He's an animal. He's a great backup to have. You never hope to lose him, but I would assume that if Cook can come back healthy, that eventually Madison's going to find his way on another team.
Yeah, unfortunately, but
yeah.
When in Cook's interview today too, or press conference, he also said someone asked him, "You think Madison's the second best running back in the league?" And he jaws back to him right away. He's like, "What do you want me to say? You know it's going to go viral, whatever I say. So what do you want me to say?" And he's like, "Well, I mean, I think he's the second best running back in the league." And he's like, "Well, you heard it here first. You said it, not me." It's kind of funny. So they definitely have a good relationship. He was calling him little bro, things like that. So it's good to see. And who knows? Maybe we have a 2-back system for the next couple of years.
I get down on that.
So yeah. So we're going to switch it up since we don't have Ya Boi D. We're going to alternate these bad boys. So, Joe, what'd you come up with for defensive dog?
We're going to go with Everson Griffin. Just had an amazing game, 2 sacks, had 4 combined tackles, 2 solo tackles there, tackle for loss, and also a forced fumble. You can't ask more from a defensive end than that. A couple of sacks, turnover, tackles, playing the field well. Definitely some probably hate in that game from him, being that he played for the Lions last year, so he probably had a little something to prove, a little chip on his shoulder. On the season, he's got 4 sacks, so he's on pace for a hell of a season. I'm excited to have him back, as I'm sure most of the fan base is as well. He's a great player and great defensive leader. I mean, great voice in the locker room.
For sure. You list off those captains. He's not one of them, but he's the most vocal on defense. And I saw in an interview they did ahead of the game because we play the Lions, then the Panthers, and then the Cowboys, which was the other team he played for. And they asked him how he feels about playing those games, and he said about the Lions, "I can't wait to whoop their ass."
Yeah.
He sure did. So it's awesome.
Hell yeah. Yeah, he's a cool dude. I like him.
Yeah. I don't know 100%, which I should, because we're sending this into the internet abyss for all to hear. But we had 7 penalties for 74 yards. Did Griffin have?
He had 2 for sure.
Did he? Okay.
I think he had 1.
I couldn't remember if it was this game or against the Browns.
It was definitely this game. I think he had 1 because it was like after a sack, where it was like on a 3rd down where he forced a 4th down, but he had like hands to the face.
Yep.
Then I think there was another roughing the quarterback in there, roughing the passer. So 2 kind of absent-minded penalties, made up for it with the 2 sacks and a turnover, but you can't have that, especially on 3rd down when you stop them, force a 4th down. That kills the defense's momentum.
Yeah. Both of those, though, I think, too, I mean, the hands to the face, he's eager. That was early in the game. I remember that one now. He wants to get in there, and you can't have it, but rather have him be more aggressive than not. And then the roughing the passer, I mean, he was probably envisioning Stafford back there and finally wanting to get a lick on him. So you get the forced fumble, we'll let that one slide, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say that makes up for it.
Yeah. So Griffin, dog. Honorable mention then, because that's just what we do around here. We went with Eric Kendricks. 8 tackles and 1 interception on the game. I think 1 interception does not do it justice because unlike what our boy Joey Two Hands would do, he only used 1 hand. Just kind of hid behind the offensive line there and then sunk back and stuck that paw up there and snagged that sucker right out of the air. So great play right when the defense needed it. That was probably one of their best drives. Besides their touchdown, which was only a 20-yard drive or whatever. So it was great to be able to, end that drive, confidently like that. Brings them up to 55 total tackles on the season, which is in 5 games, is 11 a game. On pace for a great year, a sack and that interception. So it's good to have Kendricks out there healthy and playing well. So Kendricks, dog.
Crushed it.
Hopefully, D approves of our dogs. If he doesn't, it's too bad because we already recorded it. We're not doing it again. So
yeah, he's not here, man. He should have been here.
Yeah, if you want to have your stamp on it, you need to commit. So you're already married to her. It's legal. She can't leave you over a podcast. Questioning his commitment.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's week 5 in the books. Vikes are 2-3. Got a shot headed into week 6 here to move to 3-3, and then headed into the bye week after that. So it'd be pretty sweet to win over the Panthers in Carolina. 1:00 game Eastern, noon Central. So we'll go over some keys to victory. Just buzzing right on through. You get rid of D, and we're going to be done in half the time. Shortest cast yet.
Yeah, I mean, get to the point.
Mm-hmm. So, first key to victory, I know I've said it before, but saying it again, second half offense. It's unbelievable that our offense doesn't come back out of the locker room after the first half. Even against the Seahawks, where we scored 30 points, 21 of those were in the first half, and we hit 3 field goals in the second half. Against the Cardinals, when we scored 33, 23 of those were in the first half, and we had a defensive touchdown and a field goal in the second half. So we need to get that fixed stat. So I got us down for scoring 14 plus in the second half and controlling more than half, so more than 15 minutes of that time of possession. Can't score if you don't have the ball unless you get a defensive touchdown, Nick Vigil. But I've done some research and noted that the Panthers, third quarter scoring against, they're allowing 9 points per quarter, per third quarter. A little bit in the weeds on the stats. They like to give up points coming out of half. It seems like their defense doesn't quite fire off. And 12 total points in the second half. So, just got to get 2 touchdowns instead of a couple of field goals that they've been giving up to everybody anyways. But got to turn it around. Currently, we're 28th in second half scoring at only 8 points per game. So, can't only score 8 in one half of the game and get away with it.
No.
So.
No. It comes down to play calling for that. I mean, you can't take the lead and be happy with the lead. You're playing against grown men. Like, don't take mercy on them. They're here trying to do the same thing to you. Why wouldn't you continue, try to score, continue to keep your foot on the pedal? I mean, going into halftime, you have the lead. Come out if you get the ball. Don't run the ball. It's 2nd and 10, 2nd and 15, 3rd and 10 runs. Those, they're not good for anyone. It's almost a guaranteed passing situation. Why wouldn't you lean into it and let Kirk play, let Kirk ball? So I think the coaching staff needs to figure that out. Players don't just go in halftime and come out deciding to not score points or not continue to play like they've been playing in the first half.
Right.
It comes down to coaching, the ability to get those players psyched up to come out in the second half with fire.
Right.
The play calling's got to also play into that.
Totally.
It's frustrating to say the least. See some of those play calls, 3rd and long, and you run a draw play, and it's just giving into it. It's playing safe. It's
right.
Scared football.
Yeah, it sucks too because I think the only 2 games where we've had a lead at half were the Seahawks and the Lions game, and then we kind of came out and let them sneak back into those. The Seahawks didn't really get all the way up in there, but they tried. And then obviously the Lions come back and take the lead. In the other games, we didn't score in the second half when you go in down. Like, what are you guys talking about in the locker room if you're losing before and you come out flatter? So they need to get some Gatorade up in those boys at halftime. Give us 2 second half touchdowns and really control the ball. I think that'll help us with our first key to victory. Second, we kind of dabbled in already. Call me a homer. I don't care. He's my favorite player. So I put us down for passing game, keeping Kirk hot. Dude's been balling. 10 touchdowns on the year, 2 interceptions. One was on a deep pass. One was on a tipped ball. Dude's been playing great. So got us down for getting over 350 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. And I even threw in a little bit extra with 5+ deep shots. I think we were 28th in the league in deep shots. So need to pour those shots deep and throw them back. Oh wait, different kind of shots. But Joe and I will be hanging out for the game this weekend, so we'll be throwing down some shots for any touchdowns. So that's why I want 5+ deep shots.
So. Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that. I've pretty much the same thing for Kirk expecting out of Kirk this week. And I'm wanting 300+ yards. He said 350. I say I want 3 touchdowns out of him. Then I also I want to throw in a rushing touchdown there too. I want to see Kirk. I want to see him get in there.
I want to see the gritty.
Yeah,
that'd be so fun.
Scramble in there. I'm telling you, let's get a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
Use one out of him. A little wild card action.
Yeah. We'll take that for sure. I got to throw in this sweet quote from at least, and I think most of our inspiration for doing this cast from Paul Allen. the voice of the Vikings. He said in the pick six today, if you protect Kirk Cousins in any game against any defense, he will kill you. A little aggressive. He said he is that accurate, that smart, and that good. I think it really does show in that last 33 seconds of the last game and just his stats on the season. Granted, I sound like a total fanboy. I'm okay with that, so call me what you want, but 70% completion, that's above average in this league. 10 touchdowns, and like I said, those 2 picks that have both kind of been on flukes. He takes hits. The dude's tough, so I'm going to get off the soapbox. Passing game over 350, 2+ touchdowns, 5 deep shots. Let's go deep. Let's hit JJ. Yeah, Thielen on some deep ones.
Preferably JJ, because again, this is leaning towards the fantasy football podcast now. JJ is my #1 receiver.
I got Cousins, so maybe I can get my first fantasy victory. I probably shouldn't have said that, because now anyone listening is going to be like, that dude doesn't even know anything about football. He hasn't won in fantasy yet. It's true. I suck. It is what it is.
Fantasy's all luck. It's gambling.
I have 2 leagues, and I have 2 wins, so I'm doing hot. Doing great.
Yeah, so. Sounds like it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Super fun. I love it. But my wife's in first place, so that's what's sweet. So if she wins, then, it's like I win as well.
Is she?
She is. Tied for first place.
Who is she tied with?
Sean. They're both 4-1.
That's Danielle? Is my wife not tied for first?
I think she might be second.
She did. She lost last week. I forgot about that. Well, she beat you this week, but she lost.
Who doesn't beat me? So, yep. It's great. Yeah, so the pregnancy brain must be helping for fantasy. So any of you soon-to-be dads like Two Hands and I out there, get your wives in some fantasy leagues, bet big. Somehow they'll figure it out, and they're 7-3 between the 2 of them, so they have more wins than I could ever dream of. Anyways, fantasy plug. Back to task. Key number 3, going into week 6. Defensive continued success. So I know we want to score points and things like that, but if we can allow 14 points or less and get an interception, Darnold's thrown 6 interceptions without McCaffrey on the field, and I think that's in the last 3 games. So he likes to throw picks. Got 3 straight games this year of 17 or less points. If that's 3 touchdowns for the offense. If our defense can hold them under 3 touchdowns, you're asking for wins there. And 4 out of 5 games with 2+ sacks. So keep getting Hunter and Griffin, and it was good to see Wanham in there last week getting his sack on a 4th down. Be nice to get some more action that way. But keeping that defense on their throats, holding them out in the second half, and should be able to coast to a 3-3 record into the off week.
I think the defense will have no problem doing that. I think it was like a Thursday night game or a Sunday night. It was definitely a night game, prime time. Do you remember when Darnold was on the Jets? And I think they were playing, I know they were playing the Patriots. And I think he threw like 2 or 3 picks at the time. And then they had him mic'd up and he said, "I'm seeing ghosts out there." You remember that?
I do. And Paul Allen said that. Yeah, he said that today too. Maybe he'll see some ghosts out there.
Yeah, I was going to say, you rattle him, start hitting him, start flashing blitzes, different schemes. Yep. I don't think that Sam Darnold's a good quarterback. His stats don't show that he's a good quarterback. His wins don't show that he's a good quarterback. Yep. He played the Jets, beat the Saints, and they also beat the Texans. What was that, 5-10 combined record? Like, it's not that good. Right. Take the Saints out of there, and it's 2-8. So, right. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I think we shouldn't have any problem, getting to him, hitting him around a little bit, and make him see some ghosts.
Yep. Love to see it. I want to see P2 get his first pick of the year for the Vikes.
Oh man, he's so deserving. He doesn't. Yep. No one throws to his side, so right. He's gonna get no stats, no interceptions to show that. It's not really anything you can do. It did target him a couple of times last week, and he made those plays. So yep, it'd be sweet to see him. Like you said, get a pick, get in there, make some plays.
Yep. I know we'll run through the whole roster, but Orbar would be sweet. Or the unpopular opinion, Breland. No, he's not everyone's favorite. The dude makes good open field tackles. Don't put him one-on-one against anyone that can run. Not even a 4.40 or whatever. Don't put him one-on-one on anybody.
I
But in the
can't run
slot,
very well, but I bet you I could beat him.
100p. But in the slot and tackling, he's been holding his own in there. Doesn't balance it out. I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination because he's our number 2 corner. He needs to learn to play. But be nice to see him get an interception. He got booed last week at home. So he either needs to turn it around. Maybe we slide him into slot and let Dantzler play outside. Something. But it'd be cool to see him get an interception. Maybe right the ship. Get the demons off his back.
Yeah, he's on the Vikings, so I'm going to cheer for him, obviously. I'm going to want him to do well. But I do not like Breland. I don't like him as a player. I don't like him as a person. Just from his social media presence, he tweets a lot of dumb things. I think he's. Yep. I don't know how that's tolerated. Any team that I've seen that Zimmer's had control over, that's not tolerated. So I don't know how, especially being on the defensive side of the ball, I don't know how he allows that. But on that,
it's noticed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
it's noticed. It's noticed by Zim because they asked him in his press conference, and he was like, "It will be handled."
Like that's
straight face, like a classic Zim. Don't ask me again because I'm going to beat the kid's ass, and if he does it again, he's off the team. So another reason why I'd like to see him turn it around because he's pissing off Zim, and we don't need that.
Right? I mean, he's got so many other things that he needs to focus on. It's just
right.
I don't like him. I dead last in every category when it comes to defensive backs. I mean, why not try someone else at this point? Yeah, he can tackle, but I mean, if you get a guy in there that can tackle half as good as him and cover half as good or half as better than him, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Then
sure, I roll with it.
Don't see why he wouldn't perform, or that next player up wouldn't perform better. But I'm glad you.
Dantzler's played well.
And I'm glad that you brought up Breland as well, because I just saw today. Do you know who got cut? Trey Flowers from the Seahawks. Yeah. I make a little deal over there, get Breland the hell out of here, throw Flowers in.
Yeah.
Flowers hasn't played that well this year. Obviously, that's why he's been cut. But with what he's done in the past, it could just be a down year. I mean, you look at, hurts me to say this, Xavier Rhodes, though. He had that down year with us, and then we, let him go, and then he went on the Colts and right back where he was.
Played well.
So, Trey Flowers could do the same thing and, sure up that side.
Right. Or even slide him in at 4. I know Dantzler's had some lip issues too, and he's had some stupid tweets, but the kid's long. He's made plays when he's been in there. We're kind of rambling about nonsense here, but give him a shot and then put Alexander. I mean, we went and got him back, so let's put him at 3, and then sure, bring in Flowers or even Chris Boyd. We don't even bring in anybody. There's depth at corner. Why aren't we making a move? It's not like Breland's been 50-50.
Yeah, and there's no time for Breland to figure it out. There's no time for him to get his bearings. Each game is just as important as the next game and the next game and the next game. I mean, you can't just squander away games because you want your quarterback to figure it out. That's not how the NFL works. So next guy up. That's how it should be. That's how it's fit. I mean, it's always been. I mean, if you're not performing, the next person's going to give it the next person a try.
Yep.
So I just don't like Breland. I was excited. I was excited when he got here, but
hasn't panned out quite yet. So we'll see. We'll get off Breland's back for now. We'll, as true Vikings fans, we'll hope that this is the game that he gets 2 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown, and silences all the haters. I'm good with that. Or let's expose his ass, get him out of here, and move right along.
Yeah,
the middle ground is not.
You can make that adjustment mid-game. So if you start sucking mid-game, you just yank him out of there.
Yep.
Again,
I saw that last week. Yeah. Rashad Hill gets blown up, and they're like, "Well, let's try Darrisaw."
Boy, did Darrisaw have himself a game.
Yeah, he played well.
He played
for sure.
Amazing. I think he let up 1 quarterback pressure. And it was just, he's an animal out there. I'm very excited to see his future and him continue to grow here. And hopefully shore up
For
that
sure.
offensive line, because that's got to happen too.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's it. That's the keys. We'll get some second half points. Cousins is going to blow up 350 plus yards and 2-3 touchdowns, all to JJ, so that Joe's fantasy team can do well. Yippee. Defense is going to hold them under 14, and we're going to get out of here with a dub. So there
Love
it is.
it.
All right. Well, we're boogieing right on into two hands players to watch. Before we do, it's not going to be visible. So for listeners, I'm sorry, but I've got doors on my office with the little windows, the little French doors. Got this little cat that only when I'm doing the podcast do I close the doors, and constantly she is in the window, just staring in here, sad as can be. Why don't you love me? Meow. It's
I don't know. I think
unbearable.
she's getting
So
a front row seat,
I'm
man. I think she's listening to the podcast live.
true. Yeah. I guess maybe she's just enjoying that. But this will be a perfect segment for me to hand the mic over to Joe and go get the little kitty so that I can stop tearing up while I'm trying to
This is
talk.
gonna be weird talking into a blank wall. Appreciate that.
It's a Vikings background,
I'll just
so
I'll
it'll look
just look
great
at the
for
logo, stare in its eyes.
you. Right.
Well, then I will jump right into it. We're going to start off with the offensive player to watch this week. It's going to be Adam Thielen. He's obviously not had a down year. Well, down year in his standards, right?
Right.
So I'd like to see him kind of break out of that slump, if you will, again. It's not necessarily a slump, just a slump for him. With JJ having that great game last week, 7 catches, 124 yards. Hell of a game. Hell of a season so far for him. Hopefully Carolina's going to try to key off that. Hopefully they're going to try to, focus on stopping JJ and let, Thielen get hot. I'm having noted here, I want, 5+ catches for 100+ yards and 2 touchdowns. Let him get in the end zone. He's used that. Obviously, he's that kind of the guy that won't ever lose spirit, won't ever lose faith in the team, being the hometown boy and coming in undrafted. But I think a good game for him could really kind of provide this spark that the offense is looking for. Definitely watch for Adam Thielen. That's the offensive player to watch. Again, it's going to come down to play calling as well, with running the ball in some of those questionable situations. I did see that the coaching staff this week, the offensive coaching staff, is going through what they call the self-scout. So it's just them studying their own tendencies when it comes down to different down and yardage situations, game time situations, and kind of see what they do, what their tendency is to do. Lead toward run or lean towards passing the ball. So I think that's going to provide some great insight to what's going wrong with that play calling. Hopefully find some issues that are present and fix those. We can't keep coming out of the door second half of the game and not show up. So
Right.
Again.
Well, and even just go to it. It doesn't seem like, not saying you're wrong at all, but it doesn't even seem like anything's broken, because when we do throw, we're getting 10, 11 yards per catch. Cousins is completing 70% of his throws, but it's like we're running 40 times every single game, and it's like, well, he can't do both.
Yeah.
So it'd be good to see, like you said, hit him up. Seems like they kind of teeter-totter on games. It's like Thielen had the 2 touchdowns in week 1. Jefferson kind of didn't get as much action, still had a Jefferson game, but, to his standards. And you kind of weeble wobble, if you will, through the rest of the games. But Thielen actually leads the team in touchdowns, aside from Kirk. Got 4. JJ's got 3. So be good to see him get those 2, and he's probably my second favorite player, especially on offense.
Hometown boy, man, you can't.
I dig it.
Can't not like the guy.
For sure. So many Vikings fans had to have been just like him as kids, wearing a Randy Moss jersey, playing in the backyard, pretending you're Randy Moss, and then he goes out and he's not Moss, but he's damn good.
Have you seen him talk about growing up and his path to where he is now? That's literally exactly what he did. Playing catch in
Yep.
the backyard, growing up being a Vikings fan, watching the Vikings, had the Moss jersey. Um, so it's crazy. Can't imagine that path of going undrafted and some heartbreak, but
Mm-hmm.
he took it and used it, and look where he is now.
Yep.
Top two wide receiver, him and Jefferson,
Yes, sir.
obviously.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the guy to watch though. Good old Thielen. Uh, Defensively, I'm gonna push it right back on the bar again. Had a quiet game last week. Couldn't expect much out of him, right? I mean, missing the last season and a half now with the
Right.
two different injuries. So just probably getting back in, a little timid, breaking off that rust, getting loose. So I hope that was the one game. I hope this game he gets right back to where he was before the injuries. I have it here. I want to see a couple sacks. I want to see a turnover. He's not a bad coverage linebacker. I'd like to see an interception.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool. Um,
Mm-hmm.
as it stands now, uh, Carolina's averaging 100 plus rushing yards per game. Uh, so, it'd be nice to have Barr be able to fill some of those holes as well, shut some of those
Mm-hmm.
runs down. And also, another thing is McCaffrey is 50-50 this week, is what they're saying.
Okay.
I saw one place say that he was going to play. I saw another place say he isn't going to play. And then those are questionable sources. But so 50-50. It would be ideal if he didn't come back yet. Not that I'm not confident in our defense's ability to stop him. Just don't want to have to. So,
Yeah, players like that. I mean, you don't ever wish for them to be injured, but if you have an opportunity to not have to go against them, I mean, Chuba Hubbard has been doing fine as the backup, but it's not Christian
no,
McCaffrey. So
probably one of the best
I'm with you on that for sure.
just all around players in the NFL. Can do it
Yep.
all. So,
Yep.
if he does play, again, hopefully Barr can, probably going to be a spy the whole game. Probably just going to have him shadow McCaffrey. And so,
Right.
again, Barr's hopefully, come out and play well. Get a couple big turnovers, a couple big tackle sacks. Like you said, win this game, go on the bye 3-3, and I'm feeling good about that.
Yeah. Likewise. Yeah, it'd be good even just to see him make a splash play, kind of like we talked about last week, blow up a screen pass in the backfield or, something like that and just put his stamp on the game. Really feel him back. I did feel myself, you know, super pumped when they were showing him his first game back and things like that. Didn't get to feel that throughout the game, but I like that one. So cool. Well, we're setting new personal bests here. We're crushing through this puppy, getting a new personal record, which is great. So I'm gonna edit this tonight, and then gotta fly out tomorrow. So we're packing the schedule tight. Voices of Vikings are busy peeps. So we'll do some predictions here real quick, only two, so that'll be easier. And then just two shout outs. I already got mine down, so we'll be done in no time. But for predictions, I got Vikes. I saw it, obviously. I saw it on the um, Keys to Victory or whatever that the NFL puts out, matchup breakdown or whatever
Yep.
they call it. And I liked the score for some reason. So I'm going 27-17. Stood out to me. That gives us our three touchdowns with Cousins to Jefferson, maybe Thielen. Who knows? And then you still got to see Leg Joseph out there ripping a couple kicks. So 27-17 Vikes.
That's a great prediction. I tried to look into this some more. We were talking about before the cast here. Everywhere I was looking, it's odds are pretty much even. I think the Panthers right now are sitting at a 1.5 point favorite, being at home. But people are saying take a coin, pick a side for each team, and flip it. That's who's going to win this game because we're so evenly matched up. I disagree with that. I think the Vikings are a better team. Maybe a little bit of bias there. I mean, definitely a whole lot of bias there. I think the Vikings are going to crush them. I don't think that it's going to be close at all. I think it's going to come down. I think it's going to be 35-21 Vikings. think that the coaching staff, after this little self-evaluation, they're going to come out. They're going to be throwing the ball quick. And I think Kirk, 300 plus, like I said, 3 touchdowns and a rushing touchdown there. Because you want to see him do the gritty. I think everyone else does. That 21, that's deceiving. I think it's going to be 14, the garbage time touchdown. So, 35-21.
Cool. I like it. Obviously, D's not here, but he picks the Vikes to win. So, surprise, surprise.
Again, just a little bias here. Whatever.
Yeah. We're just calling it how we want to see
fan,
it.
Why are you listening to this podcast? Are you a closet Vikings fan?
Facts.
Just accept it.
Right. Or family supporter. I think of Amory, plays in our fantasy league. He listens.
Yeah, I don't know. If I had a family member that was a Packers fan, see, I almost said Vikings because I just can't even say the word Packers. It hurts. If I had a family member that was a Vikings fan and they had a podcast for the Packers, I wouldn't listen. I want to, keep listening. I'm not trying to, be mean. I'm just saying how I feel.
Discourage viewers. Yeah, I'm just calling it how I would feel it.
He says he's a Packers fan.
I'd have to agree.
Probably a closet Vikings fan. Sometime he's going to have to accept that fact. He'll come around.
Yep, he'll figure it out. Maybe he's just a T-Money fan, and so he's just supporting me in my endeavors. No.
Again, like if my wife was she wouldn't be my wife if she was a Packers fan. I think if you go back to when we met, it literally was the first or second question I maybe asked her. It was probably like, "What's your name? Are you a Vikings fan?" Because I've went to school in Wisconsin, so I got to know that. If I'm gonna start dating you,
for sure.
Pretty important question. I know if she said Packers fan, I would turn around.
Yeah.
Bye.
For sure. I can't think of a single Packer fan I ever dated in my life. And I went to high school in Wisconsin. I guess maybe then I would have had to because they were all probably cheeseheads, but I didn't catch many of their names anyways. Zing! It was a ladies' man. Ha oh. Facts. Alyssa's my one and only true love. From the day I was born, destined soulmates.
I don't know, I think
in a room, Dad. All right. So my family shout out is going to go to none other than the other person in our league that sucks at fantasy football. My Uncle Steve had a nice coaching sesh on Friday night, giving us some feedback on the cast. I know he's probably one of the only people out there that's actually listened to the whole thing through and through. So Uncle Steve, shouting out to you. Looking forward to getting to hang out Friday. I think he listens to these Sunday, so I'm hopefully not going to spoil it because that would kind of suck. But Friday, get to inform him that we're going to use his name as the middle name for our son. It's going to be born in February.
He's going to lose it.
It's going to be, yeah, it's going to be super sweet.
Down if he cries or not.
Looking forward to that. I know I will.
I'll put money on him crying. Though you'll probably agree with that.
If you want to take crying, you can take crying. Okay.
Deal.
$5.
I'll shake with one of my 2 hands.
All right. Deal. Cool. Well, yeah. So that's mine, Uncle Steve. Shout out. Thanks for the support.
On fantasy again. It's a fantasy football podcast now. Just got to talk about it quick. Almost had him. 80 points with Lamar and Mark Andrews. Steve.
What'd you lose by? A point?
Not much. I think it was like 4 or 5. But oh boy,
not a lot.
And I was going into the Monday night game. I was down by like 20 or 30, and he was projected. He still had 2 players to play, and he was projected like 140, and I was projected like 120, and he beat me by 7.
Dang.
Yeah. And Mark Andrews, 42. Lamar Jackson, 42. But Steve, almost had you. Sorry. The person that I'm going to shout out this week is a man by the name of Jake Servati. He does listen to this podcast as well. Got him going on that. Got him going on Tropodelic. I think it was today.
Nice.
Yeah, he asked how the concert was, and it took me a week to get back to him, but I got back to him. Tyler, you know how that goes. I did, though. It happened.
Yeah. Yep.
So I started sending him links left and right of songs to listen to. But he is expecting a baby boy soon. They just found out the gender a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
So that's exciting for him. But shout out to Jake.
What's up, Jake?
I'm not going to name my kid's middle name, Jake. Sorry.
Still love you.
But
sorry.
Not as exciting news.
I think they were the ones that started it too, because if pregnancy is contagious, I think they gave it, which is weird, to Alyssa. Then she even gave it to Michelle down here, and Danielle caught it. So I blame them.
Well, it's crying already.
So, thanks for listening, Jake. Cool. Well, we are donezo in the bunzo. Couple updates for the people that listen all the way to the end. Yes, Joe, I said donezo in the bunzo.
You did.
For the people that listen all the way to the end, you'll be able to continue listening on Spotify. We got the podcast up on Spotify, and it's way easier than putting it on YouTube. So who knows? I'm going to be doing the edits tonight. Probably get this one out on YouTube just because this is the announcement. But as of the cast ahead of the Cowboys game in Week 8, that'll be coming out on or around the 28th of October. It will be Spotify only. So check us out there. Still feel, your choice. Free to send questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, whatever it might be. voicesofvikings@gmail.com. And we'll catch you next time. As always.
You know that feeling when you receive mail or a gift? That's what I feel when I get emails into the Voices of Vikings email. Please email us. It's exciting. I want to feel that. I want emails. I want feedback from, not by word of mouth. Thanks, Steve. Right. But email me next time.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
Send us an email.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, see? Now I got you going there.
I do. Now I want it. Right. I'm gonna send an email to myself.
I'll send you emails from... Never mind. Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
Send some spam emails your way. Click on this link.
Nice. Yeah. Cool. I'll click those. Yeah. Put my credit card in. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Hacked.
Cool.
Sick.
That's all I had to say. Sorry.
Cool. Well then, no, you're good. As always,
SKOL
Vikes.